Hi, so for today at Fintech.TO, what I want to show is about 6 types of sub areas within the fintech industry. So starting with the first one is banking and wealth management. So in this area, the most famous kind of products are the savings account, the checking account, and obviously the financial advisory services. And the reason that they are packed together because the way that they make money is that there's a huge amount of money in one account and the banks or the wealth management company will take a small percentage of that amount or a flat fee of whatever it's in that account, right? So that's how they make money, and they are very similar. Now, moving on to the next one, which is insurance. In the insurance industry, the major product is, of course, insurance, but how insurers make money is actually slightly different than the banking and the wealth management. So in this category, the insurers, they make money by receiving money from people, from the policies, and they try to pick that money up to reinvest in different businesses or buying stock or doing something with it to grow that money. And they have to offset the sinisters, meaning the payouts that they have to pay when people claim for something. So ideally, the money that they earn from the investment and the policies, right, the monthly payments, should be higher than the cost or the money they have to pay out, right? And that's why they are different, because the way that they make money is different, right? Now, when we talk about the third one, which is in the lending space, it's kind of similar to insurance, but in the inverse form, right? So what happens is that the lending people, they choose their borrowers, hopefully the right ones, and they give a huge chunk of money to them at the very beginning. And they hope that throughout the time they will recoup that amount of money through the interest payments and also the principal. So maybe on a monthly basis or weekly basis, whatever the period frequency is, the borrower has to pay the lending company back with the interest, and that's how they make money back, right? The lenders. So again, the reason that this is a specific category because they make money differently than the other two and all the other ones, right? Now, when we move to the next one, payment and transfer, the fourth category. The payment and transfer is actually very interesting because they also make money through a fee, but usually the fee is actually very tiny when you see the huge amount of money that go through. So they will be charging like 0.5%, some places we charge 1%, whatever that percentage is. But for them, in order to survive, they have to go to transfer money as much as they can. So payment and transfer could be like a currency exchange startup or company, you know, like sending your money from, let's say, Canada to India through an app, right? So they charge a fee on that, right? Established company like Western Union, they already do payment and transfer, but they charge, the fees usually are very high. Like they have a fixed fee, is like I think 30 or 50 bucks, and then there's a limit, and then they charge a percentage on top of the amount that you transfer. So the startup are coming up with novel ways to disrupt that industry, right? Again, in this industry, they make money through volume. So the bigger the volume, the better it is. The capacity of generating more income from their startup. Now, the fifth one, I would actually want to focus on the blockchain. So blockchain is not necessarily like an industry, it's more like a platform, a technology platform where people can actually create stuff on top of it. But in a very simplistic term, blockchain is a type of database. So people can actually use this database blockchain with multiple people, and they can be strange to each other. That's the magic of the blockchain. It allows people to access this huge database, knowing that nobody can actually change the past of what happened with the database that easily. And that actually is a plus depending on the kind of financial product you are trying to make. So for instance, in a contract, if you want to make sure that the contract that you have from your counterpart and you would not that there was no changes on it, so you would put it in a blockchain, because for both of these two players, the contract, once is in the block, they cannot be modified that easily, right? And there's actually a lot of startups coming up with new ideas of how to leverage this technology for the better use of it, right? And finally, the sixth category, actually there are more, but I would just focus, encapsulate all these in just 6 categories, are the vendors and other kind of exotic miscellaneous products. So the vendors themselves, there's a lot of people who offer, let's say, credit reports and stuff like that, and they are also fintech companies, although they are not startup per se. So another kind of company that is fintech are the hubs for payment and transfer, like Chase Tech, right, or First Data, and they are responsible for the infrastructure of the payment and transfer in a lot of places, but they are not like startups, right? But they are considered as fintech companies. Now, a fintech company could be also like a company that helps these fintech companies to identify the users, or if identifying frauds. Now, to close up this category of miscellaneous, there's a lot of other technologies behind the scene of a lot of these financial companies. And it could be, let's say, Bloomberg could be a fintech company, but it's not startup, right? Now, there are some certain innovations within the marketplace area, let's say NASDAQ kind of marketplace, and some other kind of alternative areas like, let's say, human resource, and they usually sell insurance too. So they are kind of fintech, but not. So there's this huge gray area besides these major 5 that I just told you about. So just a quick review of the 6 categories. So the first one is banking and wealth management, and the second one is the insurance. The third is the lending. The fourth, the payment and transfer, and then we have the 5th, which is, oh my gosh, my memory is not working very well today. It was such a long day. So the 5th, well, you can revisit the video, and the last one is a miscellany of things, right? Now that's it for today, and see you next time. This video today is a little bit longer, but I really wanted to show a quick introduction about this area because I think it's important to understand, and see you next time. Goodbye.